This is how I leveled up my life. After my life had fallen apart yet again, I decided I needed to get to the doctors and get some help. And so that's what I did. I went to psychotherapy and I'm still going, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. Yes, I was skeptical at first, but I soon realised after going to the sessions that there was a lot more to it than what I thought. And each, I realised it wasn't going to be a linear journey. It was a lot of self help that I had to do for myself, as well as the sessions. And they really just did a lot to change things. Long story short, I ended up being diagnosed with complex post traumatic stress, which part of me didn't want to have a diagnosis. I wanted everything to be okay. But having the diagnosis then enabled me to then go and research things for myself, to gain some clarity about what was going on, and to have a starting ground from, where to begin. It has changed a lot of things. Number two, I have been dieting since I was 14. I've tried every diet, some of them more than once. And yes, I'd lose weight, but then I would put on more. And in between that, there was all the gym sessions and the different types of things. I became a yoga teacher. I even studied weight loss, only to realise that with all the research that I'd been doing on my own, as well as everything else I tried, I realised I knew more than what the teachers were teaching me, and I was still overweight. Something needed to change. I went along to the doctors again, and I went on one of those weight loss injections. I won't say which ones because this is not medical advice at all, even though I am a registered nurse. I went along as a patient and did what was right for me at the time. These injections were one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. They've helped me to lose weight, but there's also a whole lot of other effects that people don't really discuss. My brain fog tended to go away. I got my sense of confidence back and purpose. And I don't know how much the injection actually contributed, but I can say that the changes that have happened to me since then have been positive, and I'm going to continue on it. My weight was affecting my health. It was affecting my confidence. It had had such a profound effect on my life because it stopped me from doing things that I really wanted to do. And I decided that investing in this was investing in my health and my future. So I did take some of my super money, and this is superannuation money after you retire, and I decided to invest in me, and I think it was worth it. Number three, I learned to love myself, and I mean really love myself. I learned to have more self-respect, to put my needs first and actually figure out what they were, that I was responsible for meeting those needs and for setting boundaries and saying no, even though at first that felt extremely hard to do. I had to say no to people, I had to say no to experiences, to look after myself. To break this down a little bit more, I had to learn to be understanding and caring for myself, to speak to myself as if I was speaking to someone I really loved and cared about, to look in the mirror into my own eyes and see that I could love myself. This takes a bit of practice, but it's very much worth it, and it does change your life a lot. I learned how to keep my promises to myself and to make promises that I knew I could had a good chance of keeping. Not big promises that were way out of my comfort zone, but smaller things that I could do on a daily basis, and that I could feel good about myself because I actually did what I said I was going to do. And I had to do this without that bullying voice in my head, and I think they call it the mean girl voice that you have for yourself, and stopping that and checking in with it every time I noticed it happening and reversing it and saying something that felt real but that was much kinder and nicer to myself. I also learned to get back in touch with my intuition, which I realised is actually quite strong but had been pushed down for so many years, so that I wouldn't trust myself and wouldn't see things that I shouldn't see. but I'm now learning to develop this intuition again and to welcome it. Number 4, I decided who I wanted to be going forward into the future. And I realised that this meant updating this view of myself because I was getting older. And as we get older, our view of ourselves should change. Um, it means that you decide what it is that is important to you and how you're going to get it. So much setting goals, but finding people that you admire that are already doing what you want to do or being as you want to be, and using parts of those people or parts of what they're doing to bring those things into yourself, because often we admire things in others that we want to develop further in ourselves. So I decided to actually make an effort to take on those things and bring them into myself more. Part of this was discovering more about who I am, which meant realizing that we are all a combination of our upbringing, what happened to us, our personality traits, and what it is that we want for ourselves. I actually did some personality tests, and having a look at those and the results, that helped me to see that there were parts of me that I had held down dormant, but they were in there, and I could actually develop those now. And this was huge. When you up-level your life, it creates change, huge changes. And this means that things around you will change as well. And that sometimes can be a little hard to deal with. We're not really prepared for that. Part of this for me was number 5. I had to learn to let go of people in my life that weren't a part of me I was becoming. And sometimes was just a natural thing that happened. These people sort of just dropped out of my life. I don't see them anymore. Nothing was actually said, but it just fades away. With others, I had to make hard choices to save myself, and this was part of me putting myself first as well. And I had to stick by those changes. That didn't mean that I didn't care for these people any less. It just meant that for me to move forward and to be who I was becoming, and which was really the real me, I needed to let these people not be in my life anymore. And I stand by that, and it's been very freeing for me. We all have to make these choices for ourselves and do what's right for ourselves. And I don't think that anyone can judge anyone on what it takes to make these choices, but you have to live with your own choices and do what's right for you. And yes, this left a hole in my life, a huge hole, but I was quite amazed at how quickly this hole started to fill up with people that became, I think, what they call your tribe. And these people started to come into my life, and I found that I was more in line with these people, some more than others, and my circle grew, and what I call my family grew, and I now have some wonderful people in my life on different levels of relationships that mean a lot to me. Number 6, I realised that exercise should be a part of my life, but that I wasn't doing it because there were things I didn't like about it. I had to work out how I could make it a part of my daily life and something that I look forward to. I wanted to do something that was freeing and didn't feel like it was me punishing myself or that I should be doing it. I decided to move my body at least every 30 to 40 minutes, which meant doing lots of squats, flow type movements, walking, stretching, a bit of yoga stuff in between, a little bit of weights, but making it more frequent throughout the day in shorter spurts of, say, 5 to 10 minutes, rather than something I had to change my clothes for, prepare, go to, and actually do. This is what's working for me. I'm doing these sorts of exercises um, several times a day, many times a day, and I'm finding my energy levels and fitness are increasing, which is great. I took small, regular steps outside my comfort zone. Rather than seeing big goals that intimidated me, I decided to set very small goals or steps, and I would do at least one thing a day if I could, outside of my comfort zone, and only a little bit outside, so that I was stepping up in small steps each day. And I have found that that has worked wonders. Rather, I prioritize my sleep. My daughter laughs because when I tell her what time I go to bed at night, sometimes it's quite early. It's when it starts to get dark. I have made myself be in tune to nature. So when the sun gets up, or even before, I'm awake and I'm up, because that's when I feel like getting up now. And as the sun sets, and I don't have too many lights on inside, very, very low mood lighting, so that my body naturally gets used to the circadian rhythms of day and night, that's when I start to feel tired, and that's when I go to bed. When I wake up at several times during the night, as I'm sure a lot of us do, at whatever hour it is in the night, to go to the toilet, or just because I'm wide awake, I've decided that this is okay. I read somewhere that we never used to have this 8 hour thing that we had to sleep for 8 hours a night. And this was brought in the industrial age to get us to fall in line with working 9 to 5. We used to have 2 sleeps a night, 2 or 3. And it was natural to wake up in the middle of the night after your first sleep, get up, eat, drink, do things, talk to people, read a book, sit up for a while until you felt tired again, and then have your second sleep. And learning this took away all the anxiety of, wow, I've woken up in the middle of the night, I'm not sleeping, I've got insomnia, to I now see it as, I'm okay, this is the normal rhythm. I'm just getting back to it, which is natural. So this is what I do. And I actually find I look forward to it when I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning or earlier, to what am I going to do? And I don't have a caffeine beverage. I'll have something decaffeinated naturally. I might even have something to eat. I know generally not, but I'll read, or might even do some stretching, moving around. Get on my phone. I do that, and scroll. But it's always looking at pleasant things. And I look forward to this time until my eyes start to feel tired again. And then I have my second sleep. Now, this is much easier for me, I guess, because I'm not getting up to go to work like other people do at a certain time. But I do wake up and get up before 6 o'clock every morning anyway, and I'm getting enough sleep. So it's working. I got clear about what I wanted, because most of my life I've always had so many different things that I wanted and going on, to the point where I didn't know actually what I wanted. So realizing that it was okay to want more than one thing, even though they went in different directions. Like, I like to do this YouTube channel and help people. It's been a big part of my life. I also like art, as you can see in the background. And I found a way to combine the two. Excuse me. Yeah, so that's been huge too. So knowing what I want, being able to feel what that feels like, and to feel okay with that, to feel safe with making those changes, has enabled me to move forward into those changes as if it's natural. The next thing I did was start acting as if I already had what I wanted. So I started dressing like I had what I wanted. I started to talk as if I had what I wanted. But most of all, I started to feel as if I was already there, as if I was already successful at doing this, as if I was happy to do it, because I am. And I was able to put my art out there because my art makes me happy. It wasn't about what anybody else thought, it was how it made me feel. And that's what's enabled me to look to the future and focus on where I'm going. That's what I've been doing to level up my life. What have you been doing to level up your life? Or what ideas have you got that you would like to share with me or others that are in this group? Because we all love to know.